Hey guys, what's up? A subscriber of mine sent me this video of Andrew Tate talking about ice baths. From the comments, I can tell that a lot of people got triggered by what he said. I don't know what exactly he will say, we'll see.
Doing my cold exposure, you know, they say that you should get involved in the cold. I think it's only 3 degrees outside. So I'm doing my cold exposure in a hot tub.
That's the best way to do it.
G, obviously. Where's my cigar? Good. You're interrupting my Tate speech, but you're forgiven.
Drop the cigars, man. Nobody finds it cool. You don't look cool when you do it. You look like a brainwashed slave when you do it because that's what slaves do. You're poisoning yourself. Just drop the stupid cool act.
So, I'm doing my cold exposure in my hot tub because I'm top G and I do whatever I want. See a lot of people online talking constantly.
It's great to do whatever you want, and you for sure don't want to be in the cold. That's true, but of course he does do a lot of stuff that he doesn't want to do.
How good it is to get in these ice baths and all these kind of things. And how it takes willpower and it's difficult. And
Yes, exactly. It's difficult because your body hates it, which means that you hate it. You are your body. It goes against every sense of your bodies to do that, which is why it's difficult. Something that is bad for you is difficult. Something that is easy, relatively, is of course healthy. Everything that is easy for you to do is natural for your body, which is why it's healthy. And everything that's difficult to do is unnatural, which is why it's unhealthy for your body.
I agree with you. It would take willpower and it would be difficult, which is exactly why I say no to all of that garbage.
That's great. It's the first video he ever made which actually has some kind of truth in it. Great.
There's something about melanin. I'm half black, half white. Please understand. It makes you afraid of some things, but...
I thought that his father was from Pakistan. I thought that he's half Pakistani, or is that what he means?
Fearless in the face of others. I don't see any of my brothers out there, my black brothers, talking about how good it is to be cold. In fact, I only see them saying the opposite. And that's how I know that I have black...
It's very true that there's fewer so-called dark-skinned people who go along with this torture called cold exposure. But then again, they also didn't go along with unicorn. They generally don't go along with what they are pushing. I would more so say that all of these destructive trends are aimed at certain kinds of people.
Blood in me. I do not see the benefits of sitting and shaking and freezing in ice.
Yes, because there are no benefits. It's only detrimental for your health. I will link a video in my description about that. I debunked all of the so-called health benefits of cold exposure, which are actually really just showing how bad it is for you. There's absolutely zero benefits of going into the cold, obviously, because you hate it. Obviously, something that you hate cannot be good for you by default.
This can actually be extrapolated to a lot of things. Do you ever see black people swim with sharks? It's like, bro, I'm black. My life's extreme enough. Why the am I going to know extreme sports? Rock climbing? Jumping out of a plane? This is all white people shit. White people love this. The cold, sharks. Nah. We're afraid of all those things. Now, we're not afraid of a shootout. Cool. We're calm under those pressures. White people are scared of that. But it's kind of the way it works. The reason I have such a problem with all of this cold exposure shit, even though I know it takes willpower and it would be difficult, is threefold. One, I refuse to believe there's any benefit at all. When I was fighting professionally...
Wow. I can't believe that I'm agreeing with Andrew Tate.
And I was genuinely hurt. I needed a warm bath, a warm bed, a warm chick.
Yes, exactly. If you're in any way injured, warmth is what will heal the injuries. That's just biologically how it is.
Here. 5 warm women. Who wants a cold bitch? No, hot ones. I needed warmth. Even when I injured myself, I never put ice on it. Ice it, put ice on it. Hasn't that been debunked? Someone at home can look this up. I think that's...
Yeah, it has been debunked. It only numbs down the spot. It hinders the healing process.
It's been debunked. I never believed that crap. You need to heat it up. Heat is power. Firstly, there's no benefit. It's just people trying to act tough, which leads into the second one, which genuinely upsets me about all this.
Wow. I really like this video.
Cold exposure shit. Everything is just cope and is an excuse for being too pussy to get in the ring. I want the whole world to know.
He used to fight for money, which doesn't exist. He actually risked injuring himself, and he did injure himself, for something that doesn't exist. It's the absolute slave behavior. It doesn't get any worse. It's one thing if you focus on getting money, which doesn't exist your whole life, creating some kind of business, you're at least not really hurting yourself. You're still a brainwashed slave, but when you actually in any way risk your health for something that doesn't exist, then you're nuts. Then you're a proper slave. He's now going to say that it's an excuse for not fighting. It's just absolutely stupid what he's about to say, probably.
That if you're afraid to fight, I know that you're afraid to fight. And there's nothing you can do that proves to me you're not afraid to fight besides fight.
The reason a human being would fight is if somebody invades his territory, and even if that happens in nature, you wouldn't fight somebody as in punch them with your hands, try to kick them, all of this slave behavior, which he learned. Only one thing happens, which I'm not going to talk about on YouTube, obviously. It's just delusional to even believe that a human being should be fighting. There's only one solution to problems in nature.
You're not going to let me down twice now, are you?
And it's blue. Look.
Sounds British.
Do you like ice baths?
No.
Is it
It
because
does.
white people?
No, I don't like white. No.
Okay, white.
Throw in the pool or something.
Everything is cope for being afraid to fight. Not just ice baths, but ice baths are a perfect example of it. If you find some tough alpha male guy, he's tough, he's alpha male, and he's a motivational speaker, and he talks about willpower. Ice baths are great because they're so difficult to do, and you get in there and it's cold, and I did 7 minutes.
Oh my god, he's just right on the point here.
Why don't you just get in the cage and fight? You're such a tough guy, go fight. Oh, you're afraid to fight, so now you're trying to prove you're not a pussy by doing ice baths.
I totally get what he's saying, and I do agree that it's a sort of cope in the sense that you're trying to act as if you're tough, you get tattoos, you wear sunglasses, you shave the sides of your head, all of this garbage that the slaves do nowadays to show how tough they are. Yeah, but going into a ring and fighting somebody for money which doesn't exist or for no reason, just to risk injuring yourself, that's insanely unnatural. No human being would ever do that because, again, in nature, when you fight, then it only ends in one way. You would never actually risk your life. It's just absolute nonsense to say that it's a so-called cope for not fighting. No, both are absolutely ridiculous.
It's the same with everything. Triathlons. I did a triathlon. Really? What'd you have to do? I had to ride my bike, then I had to run 20 miles, and I had to swim in a freezing cold river covered in shit, and I did all this, and it was so difficult. It took me 18 hours. It was so hard. Ironman triple triathlon. You did all that to try and prove you're not a pussy, and I still think you're a pussy? What the fuck? What a fucking waste of time.
Oh man, he's absolutely right, except that it's really just a so-called cope for not wanting to live naturally, for not responding to threatening situations the way a natural, actual man would do. That's the difference here. He believes that being a real man is fighting in a cage for money which doesn't exist or just to prove that you're tough or all this garbage. That's also for losers and slaves, but that's just something he doesn't realize because that's the way he grew up. He grew up as a slave. He always talks about escaping the Matrix, even though he doesn't even understand what the Matrix is.
You could have fought. You could have just had a MMA fight. It's only 3 5-minute rounds, 15 minutes. You wasted 18 hours. You still look like a bitch. Talk about ice bath. I do an ice bath every morning for my mental clarity. But then why are you fucking dumb? Because compared to me, you're fucking stupid. I'm here in a hot tub. Pussy. True or false?
Oh my god, man. It's so incredibly correct. And he's pretty funny in this video.
True. Ice baths are cope for men who are scared to fight, trying to act like they're tough. And you can tell because you can tell the exact character of the people who do the ice baths. Just look at them. Anyone who talk about an ice bath, look at them. They go to the gym, they try and train a bit, and they do their ice baths. They talk about willpower, motivation, and they're married to some 7. Yeah. Woo, I made it.
married to some 7. He's a 3 or a 4 himself. All of his girlfriends are most definitely below average. Whatever. I don't know why he even mentions that. He's kind of making fun of himself.
So I don't like ice baths. I'm actually against them. Now, I know you people at home are going to say, but Andrew, in your infinite wisdom, you've made a mistake, which of course is impossible. And they're going to say, what about the UFC fighters who fight, who also swear by ice baths? And my answer to that is, you only know who these people are because they fight, not because they do ice baths. They decide to do an ice bath because they're also brave enough to fight, which gives them significance. You're allowed to do something stupid if you do something cool. You're allowed. I do some shit that's pointless, but I'm top G. I'm known for being top G. I'm the best man in the world, which means I can occasionally indulge in something dumb, like getting in the freezing cold water for 6.5 minutes, timing myself. Imagine thinking this is cool. Hello. And then getting out and going, I feel great.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's wrong about almost everything that he says usually, but this video is just perfect.
Fucking, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you fucking... I don't get... I'm in a hot tub, I'm fine. I'll kick the fuck out of you. I will kick the living fuck out of you. These ice bath people, all these fucking... I'm not about the UFC fighters do ice baths. We just discussed how their only significance comes from the thing that's actually important, which is fighting, which is what the ice bath people wish they could do, but they're afraid to do, so instead they talk on Twitter about how to do ice baths. Every time I see these pussies, I'm just like, bro, there's no amount of ice baths you could get in that would stop me kicking the fuck out of you in front of your 7. So what are you doing? Just go do something real. Go fight. Everything else is cope. In fact, and I'll admit this right now, since I've retired, even I have to cope for the fact that I don't fight anymore. Because fighting is primal. You destroy somebody. It can't be explained or replicated or replaced because it's primal. It's built inside of every man to hurt another man to the point where he can no longer resist. And obviously I'm not a thug. I don't want to do it on the street, so I do it fair competition. Do it on the street, you can sideswipe a guy, you can stab a guy, whatever. That's not fair. It takes balls to get in there and have a fair fight.
No, that's exactly how it isn't in nature. That's not primal. Primal would be doing it in the most dirty way possible because you want to overpower your enemy with intelligence, usually. That's why you would trick them, backstab them, so to speak, in some way, literally, actually, possibly. Whereas if you go into a cage, you put on some kind of gloves because that's what slaves do, and then you box at each other. That's absolute slavery, and you do that by following rules. You listen to some guy who tells you when to start. It's absolute slavery. It's absolute garbage. Real primal so-called fighting is just not comparable to anything that he does, but again, he just doesn't understand it.
So now I have to cope. I do it too. Well, I don't fight anymore. I'm retired. So I'm just going to have to make $100 million a year, I guess. Because if I don't, how else can I replicate the feeling of being the man? So if I make $100 million a year and if I buy 56 supercars and if I have 40 properties.
Okay, yeah, you get money, which doesn't exist, and then you buy metal with wheels, which are cars, completely meaningless, and some kind of properties. It's still absolutely delusional, but what he said about ice baths is correct.
He's in a private jet and a yacht. All these big... Don't listen, babe. Even being financially successful to try and exert your dominance is cope for fighting. It's all the same. Men are all the same. We're all intrinsically the same. That's how we work. Where did this start? Ice baths? Bro, ice baths. So...
Wim Hof, he's an alcoholic who developed dementia because of the cold, but people still fall for his lies. It's unbelievable.
It's coming to me now. This is the white man's fault. It's all coming to me. The African ancestors were right. Pan-Africanism. Dr. Umar. Because they're always the ones trying to cope. Maybe because us brothers, like, we're built with the intrinsic ability. The melanin allows us to see the white man's punches coming, and we can slip and we can hurt him. So because we have the intrinsic ability to fight, because black people can fight better, it's inside of us. So we feel like we don't have to cope as much. Whereas the white boy feels like he can't fight, so he has to cope. So to try and prove he's a tough guy, he does some dumb shit, like swim with sharks. Think about it. It's all starting to come together.
There is some truth to what he's saying, not in that way, but that's because Europeans and Americans also have been enslaved in a much more severe way for way longer, which is why we are so absolutely disconnected from nature. and how human beings are actually supposed to live, which is why, as I said before, a lot of other people don't fall for the same stuff. We are really the worst when it comes to all of this. That's true.
Yeah, you can kick the fuck out of me, but look, I went swimming with sharks. I can still kick the fuck out of you. You're just an idiot. That's the worst cope ever. It doesn't prove anything. What does that prove? That you were lucky? That the shark wasn't particularly hungry? That's what you proved. Your life was not in your hands. There was no skill involved. You were just lucky that the shark was uninterested in tasting your pasty ass. I don't get it. Bro, let me tell you something. I almost went skydiving once. And I should have known. I've already done a take speech on this. You can watch it up. I almost went skydiving once. Walked into place, not a single black guy. Should have known. I was like, wait, something's up here. I've done a whole take speech on it and why I didn't jump out the plane. But basically, the realization came to me. Jumping out of a plane, the whole game is jump. I'm supposed to die. Ha ha ha, I didn't die. That's the game. Look, I was supposed to die, but I didn't.
Yes, it's a crazy adrenaline rush when you do that. That's why people do it. That's why people call them adrenaline junkies. That's why people do all of this garbage, which is actually harmful for their health.
Once again, no skill involved, no power or masculine, no bravery. I didn't even call it bravery because it's just blind luck, dumb shit. Caving. What the f*** are you white people doing down in caves? There is nothing down there. War and
That's also very true. Caving is crazy. I've watched some videos. I just can't understand why anybody would do that. If you haven't looked into caving, I would really recommend it. To watch the videos, never do it yourself.
Yeah, it's already tight for me.
I mean, I had the
What the f*** are you doing? I've never seen a black person caving. I've never seen one.
True. I've also never seen one. I've seen Asians.
Being half white, half black gives me unique perspectives.
All right. Overall, of course, he's still completely living in the Matrix. As he says, he's still insanely brainwashed. But what he said about ice baths, also caving, skydiving, all of this garbage that people do for a hormonal rush just to prove that they are tough is absolutely true. I don't know anything that I could disagree with when it comes to those specific topics. He does realize that people are only acting, that they are following a trend, that they just want to show that they are cool, essentially, which is exactly what he does with his cigar and everything else, the tattoo. He's a slave just like anybody else. He's insanely brainwashed. He doesn't even realize that money doesn't exist. He keeps talking about it. He's completely stuck in the slave system. But in this video, he actually spoke some truth for the first time. I've seen some of his videos. I've also reviewed some of them in the past, but this is the first one where he actually said something that's true. Thanks for watching.